Hi, my name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. Today's video is a part of a series of videos where I change my single bay garage into a fully fledged workshop. And today we'll be covering my electrical installation with some plastic conduit to make it safe and secure. Also, we'll be installing some lights. Check out the video. So the plastic pipes I've got are 2 meters long and 22 millimeters in diameter. Adding to that, I've got some nice corner connections, again 22 millimeters in diameter. I've got some securing hooks for the pipes to go on the walls. I'm also going to be installing 4 switches for the lights in the workshop, but we'll talk about that later. On top of that, I've got these handy dandy boxes that will go on the ceiling to marry up all the cables, all the wiring inside of them so they're nice and secure. In my project to move along things quicker, I'm going to be using these compact splicing connectors. They are a bit pricey, but I think they're worth the while, and they're so easy to use. And the electric wires I'm going to use to wire up all the lights are 1.5 millimeters, and obviously you've got your 3 basic wires in it. Right, so where am I beginning my journey with the conduit? That is my fuse box in the garage, and that's the main hot wire. Now, before you're going to tackle any electricity, make sure it's all turned off. That goes to the house, so I'm going to pop into the house and switch the power off that. On top of it also, I can switch the electricity over here as well, and the electrics goes to all the sockets around the garage. And the lights in the garage, they're connected to a different fuse box, and I'll switch that off later when I'll be ready to install the lights. All the wires that are spread around the whole workshop are secured with some pins that go directly into the wall. So the first job is to remove all those pins. Right, so to give you a bit of understanding of what I'm aiming for, I've already done a part of this installation, so you can see what I'm aiming for, what I'm actually doing. So I'll show you what I've got now, and then we'll continue with the installation step by step. Okay, so what have we got here? As you can see, I've changed the socket from 1 to 2. And obviously I've put the switch for the lights as well already, and as you can see the conduit is going up to the ceiling, where later on it's just ready for the installation of the lights. As you can see, that is now ready, and obviously the hot wire that goes just over here to the fuse box, that's secured as well. Okay, so as you know, I already got holes from the previous installation. And I want to use those for the plastic attachments that the piping will go into. Now, the first thing to do is to measure how much pipe do we actually need. In my case, it's 83 centimeters. To cut the plastic conduit, I'm only using a Japanese pull saw, but you can use any saw you've got to hand. It cuts really easily. Sometimes you could use a sandpaper just to smooth out the edges. Now I'm just gonna mount the plastic hooks that will hold the plastic conduit. They're obviously very simple to put on the wall. As you can see, I'm just pulling the wires through the plastic conduit with the angled connection as well, and that's it. It's really that simple. When that was done, I can now move on to the longest part of the installation. Just putting the plugs in and installing the hooks again for the plastic conduit. I think 4 of them will be enough. The length in here, I think it was about 4 meters, so 4 of them will do just fine. Now we need to disconnect the electric wire from the sockets themselves, and we'll do some adjustments here that will allow us to actually add a light switch just above, and you'll see that in just a second. So I'm using a very simple and cheap light switch. I'm just taking it apart, ready for installation on the wall. Now I just want to mark up the place where the light switch will go, and I'll just pre-drill a couple of holes to mount the light switch. This light switch has got a plastic attachment at the top where we could feed through the electric wires later on. It's a nice feature that this switch has. Now it's time to install the live wire to the switch. On the back of it, it actually says where the main live wire needs to go, and that's what I'm doing. And on the other side of the switch, you're going to have the brown cable going to the light directly. Now, to have better connections in the switches and the sockets, I'm actually going to be using the quick connectors that will save me the amount of wires that I need to attach to the outlets and to the sockets. That way you're going to have a much secure connection. As you can see, the quick connect on one side has actually got an orange side, and to that I'm going to be putting the main wires, and to the other two I'm going to be putting the ones from the socket, and obviously from the light later on that will come down from the ceiling. As you can see, it's really that simple. You just push the wire inside of this quick connect, and that's it. They're really nice and secure. They're rigid. You can't actually pull them off the wires. What you need to do to take them off, you need to twist them several times both ways, left and right, to be able to actually take them off. So it's a very nice and quick way of connecting electric cables. And as you can see, it's fairly simple to actually store them inside of the socket or even in the light switch. They don't take much space at all. And with these, they're 3 ways, so we can connect 3 cables with them. But obviously you can get ones for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. And yes, they're not very cheap. They're not the cheapest thing you can get, but I think the amount of time they save, and they're actually very, very good. And I had no issues with them. Now I'm just pulling through the rest of the wire, rest of the cables through the plastic conduit, and that will be mounting everything now together and connecting to the socket on the opposite wall. With these plastic conduits, what you get on one of the ends, they're actually a little bit larger, so they will mount with another one quite easily, and there's no issues with connecting different parts and making really long setups. As you can see, a similar thing with the corner. You've got your corner conduits. You can obviously cut them really easily to size. As you can see, I've actually the electric wire I've got is not long enough, but I'm using the quick connects to add a another bit of electric wire, and it's just that simple, and the connection is really strong, and it will cause you no issues at all, and it will fit in the plastic conduit with no issues at all. Just look at that, fits like a glove. Now we've got all the wires that are needed to connect everything together. And just look how nice, quick and simple it is to connect all the wires with the fast connects. I really do recommend them. I wish I was paid for this, but I'm not sponsored by them. So yeah, I fully recommend it, guys. If you ever need to do some electric connections, anything like that, go with the fast connectors. Ever so worth it. Even if they cost a little bit more money, they will save you a lot of time, stress and hassle. And we just continue with the whole setup here around the whole garage. And for now I'm putting the fronts of the sockets on, as we're gonna come back to the lighting setup a bit later on, so I want to have everything nice and secure. I will get the conduits ready for the light switches and for the lights that we'll be installing on the ceiling in just a few minutes. Right then, so as you can see, it's a fairly simple system that doesn't require a massive amount of knowledge. But again, as if you're not familiar with working with electricity, leave it, ask somebody that is trained to do so. Electricity can be a very dangerous thing, so if you don't know what you're doing and you're just watching a YouTube video, definitely don't do it. Right then, so now it's time to install the lights in my garage. As you can see, I already put two up. They're not fully installed, there's no wiring in it, I've just put them on the ceiling to see how many do I actually need and how to place them. In total I've got 12 lights. My garage is actually divided in half by this steel support bar that runs across the whole garage. So I've got two equal spaces, and because of that I will be installing 6 lights on this side and 6 on the other side. As you've already seen on this video, I've actually put 4 switches around the garage on the walls, and you're probably thinking, why did I do that? Okay, I'll explain. So having 12 lights, that should be in theory a lot of lights that I will be using when filming mainly. But when I'm not filming, I don't think I'm going to require that much light to be on at all time. So I decided to divide these lights a little bit and I can control them in a better way. I've got a main switch to the light that's on now, which is in the middle of the garage near the doors, and that will operate 4 LED lamps, 2 on both sides of the room. Whereas the switches on the walls, I've got 4 in total, will turn on and off 2 lights individually that are nearer to the walls. So thinking behind that is saving money and electricity, to be absolutely honest with you. And depending where I'm going to be working in the garage, for example in that area behind me, I can turn on the main lights that are in the middle plus the lights on the side so I can see better when working on machinery. Hopefully that will save me some money on electricity as mentioned before, and still will give me enough light to do my job in a safe way. So the lights, obviously LEDs, the 2 LED tubes inside of this fixture, and in total it's 40 watts and 6000 K, so that should give me a nice bright light for the garage and to be able to film my videos in a decent quality. The size of this lamp is 130 centimeters long, 11.6 centimeters wide and 6.8 centimeters high or thick. So let's have a look at them. That's the LED tubes. As you can see, you got a strip of LEDs over here, and that's actually glass. It's not plastic, it's glass. You got some bits and bobs to install the lights. That is the main body that goes on the ceiling like so. and you got two fixings on each side to put it against the wall and just click right on. As you can see, the wiring is on one side only. Now that's the fittings for the LED tubes. You just need to take them out and lock them in like so. And then you got your cover for the light. The lamp does require a bit of assembly, like these locks, but it's nothing major. They just click on. Easy to install, like so. And that is now ready to mount on the ceiling. I have already marked the ceiling where the lamps will go, pre-drilled some holes, and all the fittings you get in the box in my case. Simple as that. I'll carry on with the rest of them and we'll come back when I'm ready to wire everything up. Right then, let's install some lights then, shall we? As you remember, we already more or less set up everything. We just need to put the wires that will go to the lights above. We've cut the conduit already, so take that off. There we go. Now we just need to disassemble the sockets and obviously the light switch to get to all the wires, all the connections. As you can see, we already put the fast connects in here, so it will be so much easier to connect the rest of the wires that are required for the lights. As the wires are connected correctly, we can now feed them through the plastic conduit. And we'll just continue with putting the conduit, obviously the fittings and the box for putting all the wires together nicely and neatly. Again, the fast connectors in here are key for nice and swift installation. I'm putting them on, as you can see. All the wires will be hidden in that box, so yeah, nicely, tidy and neatly. Now it's time to put the LED lamp together. As you can see, I'm just putting the LED tubes, and after that it's time for the plastic cover. It's transparent, and that's it. Okay, so let's check if it was worth putting those lights up. Let's have a look. Even with 4 lights in the middle, the light is actually quite good. But the best part of it, I can actually turn on whenever I want the additional 8 lights, which is fantastic for saving money, electricity, and basically use them where and when I need them. The light in this place is absolutely fantastic, and hopefully my future videos will have a brilliant quality in lighting. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with those. To be told, I actually wasn't expecting much from them, as they are really ultra budget lights. They costed me about 44 Polish zloty per one light. So that equates to, I don't know, about 8 British pounds. So that's not a lot at all. And that did transparent in the quality of the build of the lights. But I have to say, the LED tubes, don't touch them, they work, and that's more or less it. There's not much to it. I would definitely not put them in any industrial area, as they're just not strong enough. The plastic is really flimsy, but hey, I'm not going to be touching them. They're up there, the lights is coming down, so hopefully the LED tubes will last me a long time. And the good thing is, when they break, I can easily replace them, as there are quite a few of those on the market with better quality as well, so I can upgrade them if I want to. And obviously, apart from the lighting, the plastic conduit on all the electric cables in my workshop will give me that safety and assurance that nothing should go wrong here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to give you a quick tour in a second, and thank you for watching. I hope you're going to watch my next videos. Take care.